All right, we're recording once again. I've gotten one view. I'm going to make another view. Minus V for view, W for window, overall, understand profile, underscore profile. First corner from here down. Now you've got two different views, so you can go minus V, or I'm sorry, V for view, go to your overall plan, set current. You can go V for view, go to your overall profile. And this, of course, is where sometimes you have up here, if you can bring up the view, you have the ability to go to these views. But you're better off playing around, right-click, bringing up your view toolbar in AutoCAD so you have that ability that you can jump around from view to view. Overall profile, overall plan. So once again, you're going to start seeing that you want to probably, at least based on the way the DOT is laid out, use your toolbars in AutoCAD and use your ribbon for Civil 3D. You're free to do what you want, but it's going to get a little bit more cumbersome as you go if you don't start using toolbars, and again with two screens. All right, I'm going to go back now to the profile, which is in the right spot, and show you in effect, at least the way the setup is, it brings up in everything as a proposed. You would like to change that now to an existing, right? And that was probably the name we should have done. You generally do not have this information nor that information labeled, and you now have what you can now are set to do your proposed profile. So the surface profile was existing. You're going to go to very often create a profile from a file because you're going to be thinking data-wise, but we're going to create profile creation tools. We're going to grab the profile and we're going to give it a name again. So 4606, and we're going to go proposed underscore center line. That's going to become important because later on you're going to have more than a center line. You know it's going into proposed. You're going to hit OK here. You're now going to go through and, in the short term, insert a PVI at the very end. And then a new one at the very end. The other side, again, knowing the data, you can see where I had a little bit of glitch in the data. You now have a proposed profile, and you're going to be about good. That is almost a flat grade. You can then add other ones, once again, so you can add a new PVI, and you can just kind of click if you want, but you shouldn't be doing that. You should be thinking things out. And so I got some fill going into the site. I'm going to go ahead and hit a pause. Okay, you now have a proposed alignment. You're going to now jump down to this 0 point zoom, and this is where it exploded the last time, so we're going to go File, Save it. Again, the first thing you did was save it in the right spot. You can close out your profile creation tools. Go to Zoom Center, 0, 0, 100. It takes you down. You don't have to put these things exactly at center, but the next thing to do is to go ahead and make an assembly. Now, I'm going to create an assembly this time off of the standards that the DOT has. I'm going to create that assembly, and I'm going to put the assembly location there. And eventually I should try to move it in the right spot as we get this habit. Move from the insertion point there to 0, 20. We'll just start these 20 above. And then what you'll start to do is add an assembly offset. And we're going to see what we're missing is the assembly bit. So we're going to kind of turn that back on here. You're going to go ahead and add out at the DOT. We'll go ahead and add a basic lane. You're going to grab that 2%, and I will then just add a basic curb. You're trying to grab those points so they go in, and they don't always go in correctly. So now you're here, and you would actually want to move that, moving it around. And then now you get to the move command, perhaps, from the insertion point of that to the insertion point of that, which won't work, to the center, if you would, center of that. Try it once again. We're going to move this from the insertion point to the center of that, and it's not finding it. So we're going to try to kind of play around with this in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and then bring in a daylight do a daylight standard. Grab the marker point is what I'm missing, and there you've got the kind of the settings all set. So we've got a daylight set. We are going to mirror that, and we'll check. You want to mirror subassemblies. Okay, check the marker point about which to mirror, and you're good to go. You now have your subassembly made. Maybe not smoothly, but we'll talk about having designed that and using the standard ones that are out there. It exploded on us last time. That's why we did not. It has a name. You give it a view and a name. So mine is V, W for window, assembly 1, which is not what I called it, but you're going to, in this case, you've got to hit the return, not the space bar. There are times the space bar does not work. Now you have your V for view, and you can jump around to everything you need. Set current. V for view. Overall plan is where you want to be next. Set current. You don't even need to be there, because at this point you're going to see you're going to go ahead and create a corridor. A simple corridor. Once again, give it a name, 4606 _ September 24th. Something you're keeping track of. Corridor mark _ drive. Standard corridor. I would prefer you do not select off the screen. I prefer you look at the names so you learn what you've done. This one you'll have to, again, you want to get the proposed center line, and once again you want to get assembly number 1, which is the only one I've made. You hit OK here. The target surfaces are the important thing. As you get more and more surfaces, you hit OK here. You now have, hopefully, something that's designed and you can see it. You're not quite there, though you've got most of what you need. Now you're going to go and to grab that corridor. There's a difference between the corridor and the corridor surface. You're going to later add regions to it, but you're going to go ahead and change the corridor properties here. You're going to grab that corridor. You want to go to the surfaces. You see all the different bits here. You're going to go to surfaces, and you're going to hit the second button. The second button is going to generate a whole set of surfaces, which hopefully will work. We'll see whether they do. And now you're going to go back to your prospector. See if you can find your prospector here. Okay, back to your settings, prospector, and now go into the surfaces. And you should see some additional surfaces. There they all are. Now that surface there, hopefully is the top one, is in fact the one that is correct, the one you want to look at. So you're going to now go to that one, right click, surface properties, and change that to something you can see, which would be something like marsh triangles. Hit OK, and that should bring in your surface. You're almost there. You're going to see later on the other ones are there for computations. Now the last bit we're going to do, and we're going to be within our, what would we say, more or less, and within our 25 minutes, is you've got a surface which you're going to kind of deal with later. You're going to click on the surface, not the corridor. You're going to extract objects, select all. That gives you those objects. And now remember layers. They named them. They were so important they named them twice. We're going to find our layers 2 toolbar. The layers 2 toolbar is right here. We're going to isolate. Try it again. Do it U for undo. We're going to use the isolate command and isolate that. So now we can do a W block. You're going to grab a bunch of objects and stick them in the right place. The right place in this case would not be out to transfer. It would be out to your H drive in your surfaces. This is generally not done till the very end, but we're doing it all the way through here. You go to your surfaces, you go to your design, down to surfaces, and then you might call this surface or finished, 4606 _ finished _ extract. Okay, we're going to hit save here. We now are going to grab all of our objects, and we'll be a little bit cognizant later of carrying around some lines or points that we did there, because we don't want to lose our coordinate system. We hit there, we hit OK. It's done. Now you can kind of do some undos. You can actually get rid of those surfaces. You don't really need them. And then you can un-isolate, and your project is pretty much in many ways kind of done first time through. There's a couple more things we'll do for cleaning up. You hit File, Save. We do that now. We're at 10 minutes in the second video. You now have something you can use. I'm going to close that out. Remember, when we export and save, we save as an 04 drawing. I'm going to go into SketchUp right now. And I'm going to, if you have an old version of SketchUp and around on campus, that's what you need. File. You're going to import. You're going to go to the right place. Out on the H drive in the right directory. We'll see if we can get these directly mapped so we don't have to go through this each time. September 24th. You got to know where your files are at. Design, surfaces, and in this case, we're trying to import a drawing file, the finished extract, open, and there you have it. There is your designed road, which you now have every ability to kind of step into. Right now, look down the road, change your height of your eye to 6 feet, and now you can run down the road. Okay, that was 20 minutes, 3D model, start to finish into SketchUp. And we'll do the rest of that later. We can then turn around, get to the edge of the road, don't fall off, turn your eye around. If you want to run down the ditch, run down the ditch. So, again, you're going to look at the tools. There's Little Man Sang there. Let's run in the Little Man Sang. Here we go. Zoom in Middle Man. There's Sang. There he is, sitting at the edge of the road. Oh, there you go. Thanks for listening.